The next thing I'm going to show you is a piece of software called R-MIX. Now this is, usually over the years people have asked, if I've got a stereo audio file, can I pull out the voice or can I pull out the drums or the guitar? Usually the answer is no. It's like a cake that's baked. You can't pull out the sugar or the flour or the milk. It's what it is. You can reduce certain elements of it, but you can't pull things out. Well, that's changed now with this software. So this is ROLAND R-MIX. You can see it on the screen there. Basically, you can load an audio track in there of any sort, and you can highlight certain elements of the mix, like the guitar part, listen to how it's being played, slow it down, change the pitch, pull out the voice, save it as a separate file. For example, here, we've got an audio file. Just play it back to you first. Acoustic guitar. You can already see the acoustic guitar is on the left-hand side there, and it's taking up quite a lot of bandwidth. It's low frequency and high frequency. The voice is coming in here. So what this screen shows is left and right of the signal, high frequency and low frequency, and the box there lets me highlight which part of the mix I want to concentrate on. So the more white the colour is on the screen, the more intense the signal is. So the white hotspots in the centre are the voice. So what I can do is highlight that and just go and focus on the voice part, and then using this inside level fader, which adjusts everything inside the box, I can pull out the voice. Okay, and I can then adjust how much of the voice I want to remove. Okay, or I can do the other way around. I can bring the voice back up, but let's just highlight the voice on its own. Okay, so if you're a singing teacher, you can highlight just the vocal part, listen to the words and so forth. What I can do is also add some reverb just to that part of the frequency now. So I've got a separate reverb effect. But now I'll bring my music back up and the music will be dry. And the voice has reverb, but the mix is dry, which has been impossible. But what I can do is rebalance the mix, so I might want the voice to still be there, but just be a bit quieter as a guide track. Or, say if the mix is a really quick home studio demo mix and the voice is too quiet, I can bring the voice up, so I can go and highlight the voice by 5 dB. So now it's much higher. I can slow down my mix. Once I've got my mix isolated like that, I've got a little wave export button up here, and I can just go and wave export, give it a name and call it, karaoke mix, or call it, down by 270 tones, or whatever it is, and save my audio file out as a WAV file, or as an AAF file or MP3 to load it into iTunes to practice to. So you can create these mixes for your students to actually practice their parts. So that's using the vocal elimination side of it. But we can also do things like if you have a complex piece of music, for example, you want to learn a guitar part. It's like here I've got a fusion guitar part. So I'll bring that in. We've got here fast tempo. And I'll go back to the start and play it. And when the guitar comes in, I can change the shape of the box that I'm capturing. And I can slow it down. Okay, what I can also do is I've got 2 tracks, so I can pull the guitar out and just have the mix without the guitar, and then on the second track I can record my guitar overdub in whichever key I want, whatever tempo I want to practice my parts, and I can hear the original and my guitar part as well. So that's a cool thing about that. And you can also pan the object around on the screen. So say if you've got a mix that's pretty good with the basses to one side and it's a bit rough sound, you can highlight just the bass part, bring it into the center so it's balanced, then save your mix as a new mix with corrected bass. So it's a very powerful...
Can you export each bit that you, each change that you do?
Yes, you can. So what you do is, you can save your project so you can continue tomorrow if you still haven't finished it. But you can also export in any state. So if I say now I want to export this as guitar from the minus guitar mix, you can bounce that out, bring that version back in and pull out maybe the hi-hat or the shakers or whatever it is that you want as a separate file and do that. So you do one export at a time. but it's very powerful. You've also got sort of volume, fade and mix tools down the bottom as well. So you've got 2 tracks that can have things being done to them at the same time. You can crossfade, mix and cut and edit. So it's like a sequencing program for audio, but with this, you know, cake baker R-MIX sort of, analysis software.
I could probably speak for everyone. You've got our attention. How long does it take you to learn how to find and isolate those sounds?
This is an interesting point. Usually, as soon as you put headphones on and you're hearing it in stereo, you can really quickly see things in the mix because it's the first time you've ever been able to display something like this in colour, which connects with a lot of people straight away. So you don't have to understand how you have to be an audio engineer or understand how a mix works to really quickly start to identify in the first track as a shaker. You can see it pulsing in time with the music. You can see that there's only one other instrument that's happening, which is the acoustic guitar, so you can isolate where that is. So not very long at all. People usually ask you, so what is it showing? I mean, you show that it's basically just intensity. The louder it is, the whiter it is. The quieter it is, the darker blue it is. They will start to recognise it. The kids are great with that. They just pick it up straight away. Yeah.
Are they friendly with other Mac products? Like we've just been learning about GarageBand and Logic. Are they compatible in both those programs?
Yep. Well, it saves any audio that you export as a high quality WAV file, which is an uncompressed file, and you can take that into GarageBand, Pro Tools, Sonar on PC, anything you want, even into iTunes. We'll read it directly. And in iTunes, you can convert it into an MP3 file or an MP4 file or any format. So WAV is like the standard international cross-platform standard. So yes, you can. And you can bring audio into it the same way as well. So the other thing you can do with it is, let's do this quickly, is eliminate noise. If you've got something that's done in a room with an air conditioner that's buzzing away and that sort of thing, we've got actually part of this is noise reduction. And we have hiss reduction, hum reduction if you've got AC hum through your power socket. If it's air conditioner in the room, which is often the case in a small room that's not designed to be a recording studio, you can actually bring the mix up. For example, I'll choose hiss noise. Here we've got one that's maybe transferred from an old cassette deck. Even before I start playing back, you can see at the top of the high frequency part of the spectrum, we've got some blue signal there. If I play it back, you hear the noise. What I can do is grab this little box, the highlight box, and I'm going to move this up to the top, and I'm just going to get it to highlight the top part of the band there, go back to the start again, play it back, and I'm going to use this noise reduction. So the idea is to not affect the brush sound, but to take away the noise, and it does it really well because it's very tight bandwidth production with just the high frequency. So you can basically fix mixes that you would never been able to fix before. Once you've got that, you can bring it back in again, once you've bounced out that version, and correct things like maybe the guitar's too loud, the guitar's too quiet, or the voice is too soft, or you want to do a vocal overdub, you can do that within R-MIX. And we're talking about, it's $129, the software.
Does it record on the fly your edits?
You can record on the fly.
So you can just press record and move the hiss up and down?
No, what you would do is you've got 2 tracks there.
Yep.
So on the second track I can make another copy of that first bit of audio, so you have 2 of them there. And what you can do is on your second track, have it so that has noise reduction turned on. And as the track comes in, you can automate a volume fade.
Move it down.
That turns down on your original tracks as it originally was with noise.
Right.
Because sometimes once the track starts, you're quite happy for the noise to come back in again because it brings back the exact original recording. And as you get towards the end of the song, it starts to get quiet again, bring up the noise reducer and bring down the original. So you can do all that cross-fading inside the song.
It'd be nice to be able to do it, because we're running out of time, we've got to do things and get it done, and be able to just press record and move the hiss up and down. So maybe that's an option in the future.
Yeah, you can do that already. As
Yeah.
it's playing back, you can move it up and down, take your output from your computer into a recording
Oh, okay,
system
yeah, okay, do it that way, yep.
But we've got a version coming out soon that's going to be part of our sonar package, which is actually on a track and it's fully automatable and everything. So
Yeah, cool.
we are working on that in the future. So that's R-MIX. And it's also available for iPad as well from the shop right now. So you can go to the iTunes store and it's about $10, I think, for the R-Tab R-MIX app.
What's the feature comparison?
The difference is with this, you've got 2 tracks, you can export your audio. R-Tab is basically bring a track in, highlight which part of the frequency spectrum you want to reduce, pull it out and use it for, and slow down and speed up. Use it for basically in a lesson situation where you want to highlight a guitar part or a vocal
Can you
phrase.
then export it back?
Well, in this version, this is the one that lets you do all the importing, exporting, saving. No, it's basically just for quickly removing voice and using in a lesson situation.
However, you could run it out through the headphones if
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
record it if you wanted
Yep.
to.
Absolutely, you can. So that's R-MIX.